we're really learning a ton this week about how you can lie with graphs, lie with charts, lie with statistics, and we're learning all of it from Fox News. Earlier this week, I showed you a completely deceptive chart which presented the opposite of the truth with regard to America's healthiest and unhealthiest cities. That was earlier this week. Today, I'm going to show you a clip which is really a masterclass in how to deceptively use statistics. Tucker Carlson hosted Charlie Kirk on his program. Charlie Kirk is sort of like a right-wing indoctrinator of college kids, I guess is the way I would say it, through an organization called Turning Point USA. Now, Charlie Kirk has no medical knowledge or expertise whatsoever. And he appeared on the Tucker Carlson program and argued that vaccines might increase deaths. COVID vaccines might increase deaths. Now, before we even start the clip, I'm going to remind you that that's not true. It's not true. But look at how they frame the data to create that possibility. Okay, let's listen here.
So here's a shocking story. Look, you should care, no matter what side you're on, above all, about how Americans are doing. And one of the main measures of how they're doing is how long they live. If you're dying younger, there's a problem. And a lot of them are dying younger. This fact comes to us from the life insurance companies, which keep close track of that. And notice this according to their data. According to Scott Davidson, the CEO of One America Insurance, reported deaths in the age range.
By the way, One America Insurance doesn't have anything to do with One America News. Just so everybody's clear.
18 to 64, those are the working years, were up 40% in the third quarter of last year compared to pre-pandemic and pre-vaccine totals.
Now remember, 18 to 64, that's an important aspect of this.
Said, quote, "We are seeing right now the highest death rates we have seen in the history of this business, not just at One America. 40% is just unheard of." And again, these are the guys who do this for a living, and they're shocked. So the question, what's causing this? It's clear our leaders don't think COVID is to blame. Here's Stacey Abrams maskless in front of a room full of masked children, and she has at least one very obvious comorbidity. Here's Barack Obama maskless in the face of his masked servants as they build his latest mansion in Hawaii. So if corona's not causing these deaths, and it's not, what is causing these deaths? 40% increase. Charlie Kirk is the co-founder of Turning Point USA. He just wrote a piece on this.
That's why. First of all, why on earth would you have Charlie Kirk on to talk about this? It makes no sense at all.
We learned about it. He joins us tonight to assess. Charlie Kirk, thanks so much for coming on. What is this?
Thank you. We don't know. I mean, the one business that actually tells the truth regarding the death of Americans is life insurance. They have to get this right. They have entire teams of actuaries that study this data all day long. It's not the public health authorities that are warning this. It's a single CEO of a major life insurance company that says, hey, by the way, there's kind of a 40% increase in death. 10%, he said, would be a once in 200-year catastrophe. We have a 40% increase in death, and it's not because of COVID. And we deserve answers. And what's so amazing, Tucker, is that we've known this information and this data for a couple weeks now. Where are the politicians? Where are the leaders? Where are the people we put in charge to actually care about the well-being of our people? Well, at least we know how many times Joe Rogan used a bad word in a podcast the last 10 years. I guess we're getting our pronouns right for our 6-year-olds, but we have a 40% increase in death amongst the supposed healthiest portion of the American population. This is a catastrophe. We deserve answers, and some would conjecture, hey, does this have something to do with the fact that we might have done a mass inoculation strategy? We know that there was deaths of alienation, suicide, and otherwise, but there's no answers. No one's talking about it.
So, I mean, isn't this the primary number they should be focused on? If you're in charge of the well-being of the American people and the death rate jumps by 40% in a cohort, that's not supposed to die young, then, why aren't you hair on fire upset about it? I'm honestly confused.
Well, it's either they don't care or they don't know how to talk about it, or they are too concerned about GDP numbers or stock market increases or immigration quotas or whatever. It's a mass casualty event. It's that simple. And the fact that the insurance company...
So listen, this is really a master class in deceptive use of statistics. So you really have to break this down in parts. He talks about the mass inoculation campaign. Maybe it's something we need to look at here. COVID vaccines protect you from COVID death. They're very, very good at that. But they say, well, vaccines happened and deaths went up. What's going on? Maybe the vaccines are part of this. You have to critically analyze the primary sources. And when you do, you realize that this has been studied extensively. First of all, it is the right that loves to say a lot of the people that supposedly died of COVID didn't really die of COVID. They died of something else. Now, you and I have already discussed, COVID can cause someone to die due to some intervening or intermediate condition. COVID, in many of the people that die, triggers a separate illness that eventually leads to death. It can cause cardiac issues. It can cause respiratory issues. It can all sorts of different things. They are the ones who were telling us a lot of the people supposedly dying of COVID aren't really dying of COVID. They're dying about other stuff. Some of those people are in these statistics. Some of these people are the people that the right wingers have been saying they shouldn't be classifying as dying of COVID because they're actually technically dying of other stuff. Well, that's what you're seeing in the data. When they say even not counting COVID, you see these people dying. It's the people you've been talking about that didn't, quote, really die of COVID. That's one piece of this. Second piece of this, we know that due to two things. One, for a while, all non-emergency care being delayed in the healthcare system. And number two, because a lot of people say, I don't want to go to a medical facility right now. I've got that ache. I've got that symptom. I'm going to delay this screening or that screening. We know that conditions, for example, like cancer, are on average being diagnosed later. When you diagnose cancer later, the treatment options are more limited, they're less likely to be effective, and your death rate is going to be up. So that's also a real thing here. And the irresponsibility of saying, I don't know, the mass inoculation campaign, we got to be thinking about it, is not only irresponsible, but I think they even know that it's not true. I don't think there's any way. Charlie Kirk, I don't know. But Tucker Carlson, there's no way Tucker Carlson thinks that the reason the death rate is up is because of vaccination. There's just no way. And they're jumping around. It's not even they're jumping 3 steps ahead. They're just jumping 3 steps in any direction and connecting things for which there are not actually connections. And it's irresponsible. And it's part of the continued disinformation that is being spread on Fox News. One of our longtime sponsors is Monk Pack, giving you 20% off Monk Pack's keto nut and seed bars, which taste just like your favorite sweet snacks, but without the guilt because they have only 1 gram of sugar, 2 to 3 net carbs, and 150 calories. A great snack if you're doing keto, if you're doing low carb, and if you just want a low sugar snack. I love the Monk Pack nut and seed bars. Great balance of sweet and salty, satisfyingly crunchy, soft and chewy. Because I like these so much, I use Monk Pack's subscription feature, sends them straight to my house on a regular basis, and saves me 10%. If you don't love Monk Pack as much as I do, they will refund you all your money. I think there's a really good chance Monk Pack nut and seed bars become your favorite go-to snack. Monk Pack is giving you 20% off your first order. Go to monkpack.com and enter the code PACMAN at checkout.